Testing, testing. I am testing. I forgot to push the on power button for the mic. That could possibly have been a problem. Do you hear anything now? Okay, are we good? There I am. Well, I'll have to repeat it all. Yes, welcome everyone to the FishEZ on a Saturday. It is the late show. I am talking about these hexazonas. Just looking at the numbers, I love these fish. There's a good number. The number of fish in this particular tank, I don't need to count them. I haven't counted them, but I haven't needed to. I just see that there's a good number, and I probably with this group might keep them for future breeders because they're a good fish to have. Next, looking at the green tiger barbs. Each week they start changing. I probably need to feed them, you know. You can always tell how they are when I feed them. And the fry themselves. Sorry about that, Jeff. Didn't mean to blow your eardrums out. Yeah, that was an issue. I guess I just didn't push the button. So I was having difficulties because the battery on this phone is about gone. And so what I did was I was trying a different phone, which I thought I could use, but for some reason I could not get it to work. I may have to update my YouTube, probably the YouTube application on that phone. I haven't kept it up to date. Here it is right here. It's like a spare phone. It's the old one I used to use. Because it has a full battery, I was going to use this one. But turns out that it kept saying that, like here, every time I try to go live stream, it says 6 people waiting. Oh, maybe people are still trying to get on there. 7 watching. Oh, okay. So actually, I'm on the correct phone. All right. We'll just close that. I don't want to end the live stream because that could end this one, right? Anyway. So it was just some issues, some problems with this, and I think it's just a matter of getting the software completely updated because I haven't used it in a long while. This tank is a nightmare. It's got way too many fish. And so what I've discovered is the rate of which they're growing is reduced. I need to get them out of here, probably put them in a much larger tank. These fish are larger and they're younger. They're 4 days younger, and yet every one of these guys is beautiful and full-bodied, and there's no loss. That's a tremendous example of what happens when you overcrowd a tank. And unfortunately, I just need to get these out, and I will do it. But I have been under the gun for a lot of reasons. There's been a lot of things happening, and you will see that in the days to come. Unfortunately, sometimes things get neglected or things put aside. I mean, nobody's dying in here, but they're definitely not growing the way they should. And I try to do water changes as much as I can. Look at the water quality difference. You know, this is clear as crystal, and then over here you have the water. It looks almost milky. It's just too much. The food, I put in a couple plecos. They haven't even taken care of the walls. Hello, Dixon Designs, Fathom Aquatics. Hi, everyone. So what we're looking at tonight is these are some of the bench tanks. In here we have long-finned rosy barbs, and they're needing to come out. So here's long-finned rosy barbs from a different pair, and they're doing very nice. And so what I'm going to do is, right now I'm going to take, I have one line going over to here. I think what I'll do is I'll put a second line. I'm just going to try to max. Oh, okay. Squirted water everywhere. Didn't mean to do that. Maybe this one. They don't need it. I'll just take the line here and put it there. And I'm going to open up the valve. We'll just open up the valve and start draining water into these tanks. Yep, here it comes. And so I want to try to clear up this tank. The way to do it, I usually do it, is with so many fish, it's hard to siphon out without catching a lot of fish in the process, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour water. I'm just going to pour water into the tank and let the overflow take care of it. And I'll just go ahead and do the whole you know, just a lot of gallons, because up here is my reservoir. I have right now 20 gallons available. So I might do a 400% water change. That's 5-gallon tank, completely changed 100% 4 times. By the time that runs through, this tank should be crystal clear. That's how it works. It really does a good job. So going on, I wanted to show you some of the progress. The longfin and bristlenose are doing very fine. They're doing good. And now that I was able to, I took out the short fins. We're using them elsewhere, and then these guys are getting a TLC. So the long fins get a little more TLC. They're eating this is zucchini. So I don't know if you recognize this pair. This is, last night I moved this pair. I moved them into this tank. This is a pistogramma, and they are the Pandurini or Panduros. The Panduros are doing nice. This was the pair that raised the fry. They had their first batch in a wonderful batch, but I found that it was so much easier, let's take a look at the fry, so much easier just to take the parents out than it would be to take all these babies out. So you see, there's so many babies in this tank that I decided I would just take out the parents. And then all I did was set up a 10-gallon, get it ready for the new fish, the pair, pick out the pair, net them out, put them in the new tank, and I'm done. I've separated them. Because once the parents are going to go down on eggs again, when they're ready, about now, I would imagine these fish, because these fish are no longer exhibiting the parental care that cichlids have. That is, you know, mom, dad, and guarding all the babies. These babies are all over the place. They're kind of like doing their own thing now. So they would definitely be in the bullseye of a very upset pair or a very mean pair when they start laying their own eggs again. They're going down on another batch. So it's just something to watch out for. You don't want that to happen, because they'll kill all the babies just because they're vulnerable and they're in the way. They're like looking at you. And see if I can focus on one of these guys. Can I focus on this? I don't think it's not focusing. Oh, usually it's the crud on the glass or something, right? There we go. There's a little better focus. So you can see the babies, they look like a pistogramma. They act like it, the way they swim. But you're not going to be able to tell much of anything. At this point, I'm pretty sure that the pH or anything doesn't matter. I'm going to do water changes on this tank, and we'll just keep them going on water changes and, you know, let them grow. And obviously, the sex of each one of these is pretty much determined at this point. That's how I'm pretty sure that would be it, because I can't imagine that these are non-gendered fish at the moment. They've got to have their gender set by this time. I know young fish might have some very small fish might be any of those kind of species that factor in the sex based on pH or temperature and so forth. I think that's more like at conception or very soon thereafter. So I'm not worried about any of the water parameters. I just want to grow them, and I want to see what the ratio of the sex males to females are. Once I've determined the male to female sex ratios, I will compare that to the notes we have. These, I've erased the notes. They're in my my book. They're in my computer now. But in May 11th is when they were pretty much appeared or hatched. May 11th. So these guys are now just oh, they're a month. These are a month old. Seems like longer. It seems like they've been here forever. But yeah, a month old, and they're looking really good. So we're going to, of course, do a lot of water changes and not let that situation where they get stunted or too many fish in a tank. If they show their sex, it'll be 3 to 6 months. Yeah, I'm not expecting it to be right now. I'm just saying that I won't part with them until I know what the ratio is. So maybe 6 months from now, we'll have a nice batch of a healthy adult pistogramma for sale. and we'll do that. Now, the highlight of tonight is what has happened up above. Let's take a quick look, and we have to be very, very, very cautious because I don't want to startle them. This is a pair of flag cichlids, and these guys have had eggs after eggs after eggs. Each time the eggs either don't hatch, they harden. Oh, it's been frustrating, and they eat them. Just never something, right? Well, last Friday, 1 week ago, after losing the male on this side, I picked up a male from the store. Remember, we were doing a transition? Well, 3 days later, eggs. It was that quick. It didn't take long at all. Let's see if I can zoom in now. It's now 8 days. You see the cloud? There we go. I'm zooming in. See if you can see the cloud of babies around the parents. Look at that. What do you think, folks? Our cichlids have produced, and they have not eaten their eggs. They stay dark when they're in breeding mode. That's one of the things I've noticed. I can always tell when they're about ready to lay eggs. They get really dark. But I've recorded all that. This was at the time they had the babies, it was actually quite high on the TDS, 200. And the pH was 5.2. So not bad on the pH, kind of low. I see they're bringing their babies down. They're trying to get them to go down because they see my camera phone and they're like, what is that? You know, let's get out of here. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to disturb them too much. I've been putting the baby brine shrimp, the smaller size San Francisco style, last couple of days. These guys are getting dark. They're looking nice. I wish they would. If they lay eggs again, now that I have these guys on the right-hand side, that batch, I'm not too worried anymore. I finally got something that says good. But honestly, this particular pair, if they were to go down on eggs again, I would just leave them and okay, the camera. Yeah, you're right. The camera's, there we go. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you very much. So was it the old male? I don't know. It seems likely that in that case that the one that died was the issue, and then the one I got was just ideal. But over here, it could be one or the other. I don't know. But guess what? Once these guys produce zero and these guys are producing one after another, I'm just going to eventually part with this pair. You know, they'll just be out the door. And we can always get another pair going, because I like to have 2 pair, 3 pair. Just like the Pandorinis, we have 5 pair? Yeah, 5 pair. Let's take a look at them. Behind me is pair number 2 that we already saw, pair number 1. Here's pair number 2. No eggs yet, 5.3 pH. Yeah. I rely on you guys to tell me something's wrong because I don't always notice it. So then over here, pair number 3. This is the pair that the female has a chewed up dorsal, but I don't know how that happened. I think it was when we got her. She had already been chewed up at the store, because I remember at the time when we got her, it was like that. But sometimes that they do get attacked or attack. Beautiful pair. Pair number 3. Here's pair number 4. Oh, this is interesting. I don't see the female. This is a 6.7 pH with 70 ppm. Well, guess what? When I don't see the female out, she's in the cave. This could be good news. This could be very good news. Oh, there she is. She's peeking out. When they have, I have noticed even with the other pair that when they have babies or eggs, one or the other, they tend to come in and out. They will kind of zip in and out of the cave. It's not like The Borellii, when I had them, the Adipisto was one that when the female had her eggs, she was in the cave and she never came out. You know what's funny about this beautiful female? I like the females more than the males, actually, in this species. A lot of people like the males, but look at this female. I love the blotchiness of the black. It's sort of unique. In particular, this one has like a little, what would you call that? On the black splotch, there's on each side, looks like a little handle, a little nodule. See, look at that. Look at a little spot. On this side especially, it's that more rounded. I love that because it allows me to tell the females apart very easy, and I like that. Hi, Sandy. Thanks for joining us tonight. And Fish Family Inc., JC, everybody's here tonight. I'm sorry for dragging you out on a Saturday evening when you should be talking to your mom. Yeah, I should be talking to my mom too. Yeah. Oh, pHs. Well, I think you saw that Aqua Funk. You may not have noticed it, but this is a little filter, and it's got peat moss in it. So it's a natural method of lowering the pH, and I'm just filtering. It's an additional filter. The actual filter is in the back, as you can see, and this one is just what lowers the pH to where I want it to be. So it's rocks in the bottom, and then I fill this portion with Super Peat by I think it's company name is I'll think about it in a second. And then after the Super Peat, I do have a another filter piece that came with this particular. This is a corner filter, cheap corner filter that I buy on Amazon, and it's just meant to be like a small, 5-gallon, 10-gallon corner filter. But I use it for just this purpose, and it's just a box filter, so I can filter the water. And in particular, this is not really dark like the one behind me. I don't know if you noticed, like here, water's clear even though the pH is 5.3. But here I didn't put this. Did I put the? Yeah, I did put the Super Peat in here. Brought it down to 5.5, and it tends to stay. We can check it tonight if we want. This one is 6.7. This tank here was not. I did not put the Super Peat in. There's a reason for that. I want to see if they'll breed without the Super Peat. And if they do, I want to know the sex ratio. So I'm doing an experiment, really. I'm going through these to see how many males and females. Now, the last pair is the last pair. They were doing great until I noticed that lately the male has just been hiding out at the surface in the corners. I think the female's beating him up. I'm not sure. I've not seen it happen, but now I'm watching for it. I got to keep my eyes open. Where is he? Like, there she is. But he tends to be away from her. So, yeah, let's do the pH testing. Let's just test these right now while we're doing it. Since I'm up here, I'm going to turn the camera around so I can make sure I see. Hi, everyone. Welcome. And I'm at the ceiling on a stool, actually. I'm just going to put the camera way over here. There is some light pollution issues. Let me see if I can position it so you can see what we're doing. Now, you should be able to hear me because I'm wearing the mic, and so no matter where I go, is the second number TDS. Yeah, the second number is TDS. So we got 70, 140, 50, 40. I keep that as a record. I'm not focused on the TDS as much because I've learned that for example, in the subocellatus over there, they spawned and the TDS was 260. Sometimes it doesn't seem that it's a big factor. Not being too high, you don't want something that's super high. But the actual use of using RO water with the peat moss is what's going to bring down the pH. and that's what's going to keep it, and it'll stay low. And with this particular peat moss, it's like a miracle peat moss. I don't know how that works, because for some reason it gets down to 4.7, 4.6 pH and then stops. You can filter it all you want and it won't drop lower than that, and I don't know why. And I confirmed that with other friends who have done the same thing with that. And it's they say it's just the nature of that particular peat moss. It doesn't go below that. So let me see. I want to get my meter, which is it within my reach? Where did I put it last? Oh, yeah, right here, right next to me. So I'm going to pull it up. We're using a Milwaukee. This is my preferred pH meter, a Milwaukee 802. Let's take a look at the first one. We'll just put this in the middle, I guess, and turn it on. Put the guy in here. We're going to check the numbers, because I wrote these numbers probably, I don't know. Did I write these numbers recently? A week ago, maybe? Yeah, it's been a little while. Actually, we'll give it a few seconds to drop, because right now it's reading 6.3, not 5.3. It did say 5.3, and I'm using the peat, so, 6.2, it's dropping. So this one may have to be left there for a little while. Let me check the ppm. It says 50 here, now it's 40. Did I do a water change? Is that what I did? You know, I think I did do a water change. It's trying to stimulate something, so I did do water change. I changed 50% of these this week, that's right. And when I did that, I changed 50% of the water with RO water. Yeah, that's what I did. So now this is 50. Okay, it's showing 50. So this is right, the ppm, 40 to 50, so it's less than 50. Let's check the pH now. It takes longer for the pH to register. Now it's at 5.9, so it's dropping. So we're going to give that a few minutes to check. In the meantime, we'll double check on this one. I can see it went up 5.8 now. It's still dropping. It might drop down to 5.3 by the time we do anything. So let me see. I'm going to let you look at that for a moment. Grab a drink of water. Okay. Now, while it's doing that, 5.8. Oh, okay, 5.7. Yeah, it's still dropping. Yeah, I think if we want to get it as accurate as possible, we have to wait until it stops. Yeah, she came out of the cave. She may have just happened to be in there when I looked. She didn't see me, because I usually like to keep the hole away or in a position where there's something kind of in front of it, and I'll tell you why. I think the fish feel more comfortable if they think that their cave is very hidden. Let me show you the case with the other pair that did spawn. This particular pair of right here, this particular pair spawned in a coconut half, and there it is. So I put the hole facing to the right, so I can, if she sticks her head out I can see it, so I know she's in there, right? But because it's a coconut half, she'll start to excavate and pull out sand, and she'll feel like I need to cover my hole. So what she does is she starts spitting out the sand just in front of the coconut hole. She creates her own little barrier. So you'll start to see a mound of sand right in front of the hole. And when I see that, then I know she's excavating. So that kind of tells me that she's happy in a home. So she was happy in this one. I think that's the one she spawned in with the babies that we saw. And the male, he's a very docile guy. He's kind of low key. So what else can we take a look at? I wanted to tell you some bad news too. You know, things happen. That's the thing about fish room and breeding, is that sometimes things are good and sometimes things are not so good. So the bad news for the week is this. Unfortunately, our subocellatus decided that they were going to get frisky again, and the babies were just barely eating. They were just barely on brine shrimp, but the pair decided that they were getting frisky. I could tell because they're going in and out of the cave again, and it was their first spawn. Maybe they didn't know better, and poof. That's what happened. Babies just disappeared one day. They were there, and the next morning they were gone. So it was a small batch. There were only about 12, but it was my first spawning of Pelvichromis subocellatus, and they spawned under these conditions: 260 ppm, 0.38 microsiemens, and 6.8 pH. That was on May 24th. So you can see it was just, you know, about 2 weeks ago. So that happens, and it's sad, but you know what? It just means that they're going to get better next time. Now, this pair over here, there's a pair of subocellatus in this tank. I haven't noticed any interest. There's other fish in here, like there are some plecos, and there's also the female rosy barbs behaving like ditherfish. And I put a cave there, but I haven't seen any action. I might move the cave to the back. Probably would do a lot better. Exciting news is, again, over here, these fish are doing great. As you may have remembered, there was a ton of these electric blue rams coming up in this jar, this 2-gallon jar vase. And I'm really, you know, nervous about them, but they've been doing so great. But I still was so nervous, I moved the rest of them out. I mean, in other words, I took a siphon and I just decided to split them up just in case something happens. So where are the rest? Here's the rest. There we go. Electric blue rams. So they already have a slight blue tinge to them. I'm really surprised. I don't remember that before, but wow. Slight blue tinge, and they're doing very well. I've also found that if you have a breeder box that starts to get mucky on the side after feeding baby brine shrimp, if you start seeing a muck start to form on the walls, it's time to keep it clean. I use a toothbrush and I just make sure the walls are clean. You'll get a bacterial infection if you're not careful. Oh, okay, so Jeff, what you do is you pull the week. Okay, yeah, you make sure. In my case, I think by the time they'll go to the grow out house and they'll sit there for a while before we actually sell them. So by that point, they'll be on full tap water and transition. Our black angels are coming along nice. I put them in the tank behind. The batch turned out to be not so large. They were dying off quickly, one by one, probably the same bacterial infection I was talking about. So what I did was I just got them out of the breeder box, put them in here, and they're loving it. But I'm anxious to find out how black they are. If they're going to be double blacks, or just going to be blacks, or they're going to have bars. When they were a little younger, they were just solid black. Now I see there's a little more color, and I also see on the dorsal fin there's this little white mark. I don't know if that will grow out either, but we'll see. At this age, you can't really be. Oh yeah, I do have an extra bubbler. Yeah, the breeder box. It's a safety precaution. As you can see, this is dripping very slowly, a little too slow. I have an issue with noise because our bed is just on the other side of this door to my left. So right there is the bedroom, and so my wife has issues with sleeping when you crank these things up and they go whoosh, whir, 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 start gurgling, and so I have to turn them down. But I find that when you have too many fish, you can easily suffocate them with not enough water flow. And if I try to increase the water flow, I'm going to get overflowage because that thing will clog up. In fact, these are probably ready. I don't think these will get through the small weir. I'm probably let's put it on a different weir and see. I don't think that they'll get, if they get in this tank, if they happen to get through the weir, they won't get eaten because there's nothing big, and I mean they're only with these little baby fish inside, so it will be okay. Let me get a weir. I keep all my weirs in the same spot, so I have a spot where I keep them, and I just pull it out. I keep everything in here, and so every time I need to grab one, I know where it is. I don't go looking for the room through the room. Here we go. This is the small one, and there's also a large one when they get even bigger, and it allows more water flow. Yeah, by the time they get into this one, usually there's so many I got to move them out anyway. But if this is a small, so let's take a look. There is, if anybody knows the answer to this, I've been trying both, but there is two sides to this thing. One is, as you can see, it's like the slits are just small, and then on this side they're tapered. Now I'm pretty sure they're tapered to go this way. So in other words, water goes through the wider and then goes into the smaller. But okay, get the fry away. I kind of spook them away, pull that off, put that on. There we go. And will they slip through this side? I don't know. Sometimes they get stuck on there if they're too small. I don't mind it if they die on there, because usually it's the tiny, tiny, tiny ones that need to be cold anyway, as it were. In other words, if they're so weak that they can't even break that simple little drip, this is the drip water flow. If they can't even get through that, then they're not going to make it anyway. It's not that I have to even call them; they just die along the way. They just do. It's natural process. Not everyone will make it. So if I'm looking at this group, for example, there's no belly sliders that I can see in this group. It's really a great group. So this is impressive. I got a couple hundred there. Oh, you did a hack video. Oh, great. Send us the link. Post the link, folks. Yeah, we want to see it. You can put some what do you call it, silencers on these things. So yeah, I think these guys will be okay. I don't see any getting sucked up right now, and the water's dripping. It's just dripping. You see it in the back, just kind of dripping back into the tank. So yeah, I do transition. I try. You can see these fish here. Their bellies are full of baby brine shrimp, but at the same time, I've also added some Dr. Baslier. This is the small size pellets, and the way I transition though, I would just put it in there. They're not eating it actually, so I'll be cleaning this out when I clean the box. But here's the transition. I go from baby brine shrimp, and then when I put a micro, this is a micro symbol, like you would see like micron, micro symbol. Since I'm an engineer, I often use things such as that. And if you see one that has like here's a micro, so they're getting micro food. So I start with the dry food by first using micro food. Now the micro food, let's see if I have it here to show you. You know, I'm going to tell you what happened last night so you understand why I don't even know where all my stuff is. Everything got jostled around because I had to take all this apart. This this down here, all this stuff had to be removed, and I had to take out this and the shelf off this stand. So you can see it's a 90 gallon, and all this stuff underneath had to come out. Why? Because simply the water meter is here. This is the water meter for the house, right there, and my stand is in the way. I just built it around it, but I do have access to the shutoff valve. But the water meter, the water company called us and said, coming Friday, and we gotta fix your water service. So I'm like, you know, there's nothing really wrong with my water service. I says, what is actually wrong with them? And I didn't really get an answer. So I was very curious as to when they get here, as to what they're going to say. Is like, why are we fixing the water? I mean, I use water every day. I don't have an issue. Well, listen to this. This is the story. Some time ago, the water company put in all these meters for all these houses. And apparently the washers they used on the meter, the washers are both connection points, because you just unscrew both sides and then take the meter off and put a new meter in if you need to. But apparently the washers weren't that good. They didn't use the best quality or something, and so you're supposed to change the water meter every 20 years, 25 years, he said. So they're going to change the water meter after 25 years, but the problem is people are having leaks, and it's causing damage in their basements. So their places, their homes, it's like it starts leaking and they don't know it. Next thing you know, the basement's flooded. Next thing you know, it's thousands of dollars worth of damage. So what they're doing to fix the problem is they're sending a guy out, and all he does is, because our meter is not yet slated to be repaired. He said in another 5 to 10 years, they're going to replace this meter. But in the meantime, for a little rubber washer, they're going through all the houses and just replacing the rubber washer. And that's what all he had to do. So he had to have access. So I had to, tear everything apart. And that was a little stressful. And so by changing the washers, then what they're doing is they're just ensuring that there's not going to be leaks in the future, and that way they won't have more, costly repairs. Hi, Roman. Thank you for joining us tonight on a Saturday. A little odd evening, but we're here, kind of making up for last night. I was just explaining the reason why last night was a maintenance issue, and I couldn't do a live stream. But it's all been put back. Everything's doing well, and so good thing for that. So now, I was looking for the micro food, wasn't I? Okay, it's here somewhere. Oh yeah. So I use this as the micro food. It's actually, I don't know if you can see. It's like a powder, huh? It's like powder food. You can do the brand I couldn't think of earlier is Sarah, and the Sarah Super Peat Moss. But this is the Sarah Micron food. Micron. So if you see on the breeder box a Micron symbol, then that means they're on Micron. So in addition to the baby brine chimp, I feed the Micron food, and I may use, this is Dr. Bassler, this is Sarah, and so I may change back and forth, use different ones. So by just get them on this is high protein growth food. It doesn't really matter what it is for angels and rams, but I'll put that on there. Then when they graduate to something a little bigger, when they start able to eat the pellets, then you'll see a beta or a B on the tank. And so that's what this is over here, for example. It reminds me when I'm feeding, this tank 1 gets Bassler as a beta sign symbol. And then Micron food, and so there's Bassler. So they're already on Bassler pellets. And then once they go from bacillary pellets, they'll be big enough to adult size. They can feed just about anything, flakes, and all that good stuff. This week we had an order, and I may as well tell you what happened and why I'm going to be changing some things on the website. The website is aquarium.biz. Right now you can get this hide. See how I have this hide? I see a pleco is taking advantage of it, but I have these electric blue pair in here, and I threw in the hide along with the plate and made a nice little spot for the rams. I guess I could move it to the back corner or something. But you can buy these. I think right now the price we have is $8 for the hide, and they're on there. But the issue is that, like for example, this week we had a customer, one of you fine gentlemen out there, decided I want to try out the hide, and so they purchased the hide. They paid $8 for the hide, and then they pay for the flat rate shipping, which is $16. So, scratch your head, you're saying to yourself, the hide is only $8. I'm going to pay $16 for that thing. It's a little bulky. You can't put it in a padded envelope. So there's not a lot of options to get it shipped. So this is one of the sad things about it, is that I can't ship a single little hide. So what I decided to do is we're going to change the offering, and the offering will be not one hide, because let me see if I don't have my box here, but I'll give you an idea. I don't have the shipping box, but the shipping box is about this big. So I can put in several hides. So what I'm going to do is we'll have an offering, but we're not going to sell one hide. We'll sell 2 or 3 as a package. So if you're interested in a package of little plates and hides, I think it's best that way. If you're going to breed them, it's kind of nice to have a couple tanks or 1 or 2 of them, and so, or even 2 in the same tank. You can do it that way. So that what I'm going to do is offer several of them, and then offer them for the flat rate shipping, which is going to be probably around $16, $17. And you know what? That's good. Then the price of the shipping matches more like, because whatever I can get into the box, up to 11 pounds. I can ship caves, I can ship all kinds of things in one box, and still it's only $17 throughout Canada. So it doesn't make any sense for me to sell one item, because nobody wants to buy one item and pay $16 for the shipping, but only $8 for the product. So I guess that's just the name of the game. So kind of like do a little group thing. So let's see. And you should redo it. So you're talking about your video, right? Yeah. I want to find out your video. Don't judge me. It was when I first started, so I was very organized, or maybe you meant unorganized. I'm not sure. Sounds like the context. Yeah, we want to see some of those. I don't mind if a video is. I learned so many things from other YouTubers, and I think we all do, right? And so I picked up on a lot of great tips and tricks, and that's what I do now, maybe day in and day out. I'm always doing it, and why wouldn't I have that? So that's something to recall. Something to remember is that it's okay if it's not highest quality, and if you want to redo it, that's fine too. But I'll give you an example. The #1 video on FishEZ channel is, without a doubt, thousands of views. It is #1, and I can't tell you how many times I wanted to redo it. But then I say, no, I just leave it the way it is, because, yeah, there's been some improvements in the way. If you read the thousands of comments that have been posted on it, you'll find these different ones. I have suggested things, I've made improvements, I've tweaked it, and now I have a new video that I send out to people that I sell to. What is it? It is the paramecia, how to culture paramecia easily. So as you know, up here I have my cultures, and everybody wants to know how to do this. So here they are. These are the paramecia cultures. Here's something I made just a few days ago. This one is the one I'm currently feeding from. But how to keep this going and everything, it's incredible. It's very easy once you have the culture. And people buy the culture kits from me. I sell the whole kit, so I give them not just the paramecia. See here, it's kind of, you might see up at the surface there might be a cloud. I can barely see it through the camera, but let's see this one. Okay, this one, it's kind of a dirty container. Probably need to clean it out so I get that. But the, yeah, you can't quite see it very well. Not this angle, I'm reaching up from above. But I just finished another tea. I do like this tea. And the bottle is perfect for what I use it for, so here's a clean one I'll be using soon. But basically, people looked at the video I made on that, and they want to know how to do the paramecia. There's so many people that wonder, that have the same question though. Do I need to have the paramecia culture, or can I cultivate the paramecia using this method? In other words, boiling the water and putting the yeast and a couple kernels of grain. And sometimes I wonder, what these people are thinking. It's like, won't the paramecia just appear? That's what they're thinking. Well, if you believe in spontaneous generation, then maybe so. But you need a culture starter. You need one little paramecia to start with. Now, can you get it from your local stream? Yeah, you can. I guarantee you, though, this came from a laboratory culture, so it's very pure. I don't see any other kind of issues with other little tiny animals or microorganisms in my cultures. And that's what's nice about them. It's just pure paramecia. But if you do go to your local stream and you get some of these, you might find some paramecia and it might start growing and everything. But you're also probably going to end up, I should say, with all kinds of creatures. So maybe that's okay. Maybe that's infusoria. That's all you need. But I never dissuade people from giving it a try. I always tell, yeah, try it. See if it works for you. But I do know this works, and it's an awesome product, and people buy it all the time. So let's see. We have any questions? Another baby angel question. Current spawn. Largest or just below dime size? Okay. Can I successfully transition to afford and expect them to find food in a bigger tank? Definitely, yes. Angels, they will not have a problem. When I transition, like for example, from my breeder box, and I put them in a larger tank. Oh, am I losing? I'm losing my battery power. We'll have to cut this short. Let me answer the question. Yeah, so Sandy, what it is they immediately start in this new mode. You'll see them like at a cloud. They'll be circulating the whole tank, and they'll be looking for the food, and when they find it, they'll gobble it up. So don't worry about that. They're at dime size. They're fully functioning fish. They're no longer this little tiny fry that needs to, you need to try to get the food to it. It is like those fry up there we were looking at for the curviceps, flag cichlids. I put vinegar eels in there, and I put the small version, the San Francisco brine shrimp. I did all, and I even a squirt of paramecia to get them kick-started. But once they start eating, I can put in the regular brine shrimp, and it just kind of spreads out throughout the whole, it'll spread out through the whole tank, and they'll do that. So folks, turns out that with the technical issues I was having at the beginning is now caught up to me. My battery on this particular phone is about gone. But I just wanted to give you that update and to explain what was going on here and to show you the magnificent new spawn. I'm excited about it because it looks like a few hundred fish, maybe 100, well over 100, I would think so. I don't know if all of those will make it, but at least it's a start. And I'm happy about that, so we'll see how it goes. When they get a little bit bigger, I might just pull out the some of them, maybe siphon some of them out to give it a try. I want to show you what I'm observing right now. You were asking the question. You remember I said this female, this tank up here, the male was up in the corner. Well, he's up in the corner, and the female's kind of giving him a difficult time. So this pair is not doing well. So what I might do is, since this is my last pair, I don't have another male that I want to use. I'll probably take the both of them and put them in here. So instead of her being able to harass, if they go into the community tank, what I've observed is that instead of beating up each other, they tend to stick together in the community tank and they find each other out. But if one of them needs to escape, they can escape. And I just leave them in here for a little while until I see signs that they're really interested. And I have a cave there, right here. And if there's also a pair of the subocellatus in here too. And we'll see. We'll just put them in here, let them get lost. And that's how I handle that aggression until they're no longer aggressive to one another. And then when I see them pairing off, if they do show signs that they like each other again, then I'll just net them out and put them into the tank together. And usually at that, once they bond, they're no longer trying to kill each other. So pair number 5 is going to get some special treatment, I think. I think that's the best thing for them. Well, thank you everyone for a wonderful hour here on FishEZ Friday night. Thanks for the thumbs up and all your support. We're going to try to pick it up again next week. And we're going to, let's see, Michael's website. Thanks for posting the links, everyone. And my phone has gone dim because of the low battery, and I'm probably going to get knocked out any minute now. But thank you all for coming, and I appreciate your questions. And hopefully, if I didn't answer your question on the live stream, go ahead and paste it below, and I'll get back to you right away. Okay? So thank you very much, and it was good seeing you all. Have a good evening, and we'll talk in maybe next Friday. Hopefully that will work out at a regular scheduled time. All right. Take care and have a good night. Keep it real.